And with that, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Lisa Smith. I'm the Executive Director of the Natural Areas Association. And you'll be hearing from me in a minute, but I'd like to introduce Terri Hogan, who is this year's Natural Areas Conference Chair. Terri is going to welcome you to Fort Collins.
So, good morning, everyone. I'm delighted to have you here in Fort Collins, and I want to welcome you to the 2017 Natural Areas Conference and to this wonderful city. So here we are on the Front Range where the Rocky Mountains meet the Great Plains. We're within a dynamic center of collaborative conservation. A collaboration to protect and manage natural areas, as well as to provide recreational and research opportunities on America's public lands. So as many of you know, Colorado is a very progressive state when it comes to conservation and protection of open space. Collaborative conservation achievements of the city of Fort Collins, Larimer County, and other municipalities of Larimer County provide some excellent examples of this. So they include collaboration at every level of government agency and with NGOs to acquire land for protection, a reintroduction of bison, a keystone species of the prairie ecosystem, and black-footed ferret, a federally listed native mammal. Planning ahead to preserve natural areas in anticipation of future population growth and ensuing development. And those of you who will be on the Soapstone Prairie and Red Mountain open space field workshop will see an example of this. So the city of Fort Collins manages 49 natural areas covering 36,000 acres. A total of more than 43,000 acres are conserved with conservation easement lands. And Larimer County owns and manages 29,000 acres of open space and 18,000 acres of conservation easements on privately owned land. So that is pretty remarkable, I think, especially coming from the East. So congratulations to for being forward-thinking and protecting these lands. So during this conference, you'll have the opportunity to learn about other successful conservation efforts within Colorado and well beyond Colorado, within other states as well. So I've been a member of the Natural Areas Association for much of my professional career, and I have personally and professionally benefited from the support that this organization provides. So NAA exists to support the community of professionals, all of you out here, students as well as students and others engaged in natural areas protection through their research, through their management practices, and through policy development. So although the Natural Areas Association has its roots in the Midwest, the organization continues to expand the geographic range over which it provides support to the community of natural areas professionals by providing cutting-edge science, based information and resources that practitioners can use on the ground to help manage these very important places long term. So we are grateful to the Natural Areas Association for choosing Fort Collins as the location of this year's conference. This is only the second time the organization has had a conference in Colorado, in the state. And this event provides an opportunity to bring our community of natural areas professionals together, along with students who are the next generation of natural areas stewards, to share knowledge, research, experience, and conservation successes, to make connections, to expand and strengthen our networks, and to engage with each other as natural areas professionals during the course of the conference and well after this conference ends. So I want to thank the Natural Areas Association staff for all of their support and hard work, particularly Kate Angel, who you'll see rushing about through the course of the conference. She helps steer the ship and keep us on track during the course of the planning process, which has been going on for more than a year now. I would also like to express my gratitude to the local conference committees for their tireless efforts to assure a successful conference. And I ask those of you who've been involved in the planning, and there are a lot of you, to please stand up and be recognized for everything that you've done. So I've had the great good fortune of working with Paula Fornwalt of the U.S. Forest Service Rocky Mountain Research Station, and Susan Panjabi of the Colorado Natural Heritage Program, whose substantial contributions of time and effort have assured that we have an excellent program that we will all benefit from, and I think we'll all talk about for years to come. So I invite you to enjoy this conference, learn from each other, make those invaluable professional and personal connections. Take advantage of this setting. You're in an interesting city that is very progressive. It's set in an outdoor enthusiast's paradise, and it's also home to Colorado's land-grant university, Colorado State University, that is well known for academic programs in natural resource management and tourism and recreation, its emphasis in campus sustainability, and as home of the Center for Collaborative Conservation. So Fort Collins welcomes you all.
Thank you, Terri. So on behalf of the Board of Directors and staff of the Natural Areas Association, I would like to also welcome you to Fort Collins and to the 44th Natural Areas Conference. Let me first extend my thanks to all of the organizations who came together to help us organize and support this conference. You can find a complete list of everybody involved in the planning of this conference on page 24 of your conference program. But a few I'd like to acknowledge specially include the National Park Service, the U.S. Forest Service, the Colorado Natural Heritage Program, the Bureau of Land Management, the City of Fort Collins Natural Areas Program, and Colorado State University. We simply could not have done any of this without you, and we're deeply grateful for your support and participation. It hardly needs to be said that we're gathering here this week during some challenging times for natural areas professionals. Changes in the administration's view on land conservation, extreme storm events, unprecedented wildfires, and what they mean for the work we do affect us all. So that makes convening here today even more urgent. We're hearing from Natural Areas Association members and from others across the community that the need for this kind of event has never been greater. During these times, we need to come together to hear stories of hope and success, to exchange critical information and share emerging stories, emerging strategies for natural areas management, and simply to stand in support of one another. We believe deeply that to meet our challenges, we must do so together as a strong community. That's the bedrock on which the Natural Areas Association was founded, and it's what we continue to advance today, the belief that together we are better, more powerful, smarter, and better able to care for the land that we manage and love. For those who don't know much about us, the NAA has been serving the community of natural areas professionals for over 40 years. We're the only national membership organization dedicated to the support and advancement of this community and committed to providing our members with cutting-edge science-based information and resources that practitioners can use on the ground to help manage natural areas in the long term. While you're here at the conference, I encourage you to think of all we can do when we join forces. Whether or not you're a member of the association, we're all a part of the same group with shared challenges. Visit our table outside to learn more about us. Go to our website or just ask any of the NAA members sitting next to you this week what their membership has meant for them. If you're not a member, consider joining. Become more engaged in our work to support the community of natural areas practitioners now and into the future. So we're very excited about this year's conference program, which is comprised of 2+ days of symposia, workshops, sessions, presentations, posters, and networking events, all followed by a full day of field workshops on Thursday. We had an overwhelming response this year to proposals for sessions, which we think just goes to show the volume of important work being done by the natural areas community. And you'll have a chance to see more over the next 2 days with almost 200 speakers and 10 concurrent sessions. So good luck getting to see what interests you. As I said earlier, we could not have put on this event without the help of a lot of partners and institutions, and Terri did a shout out for many of them. And I just want to say, but the real power is in the individuals who put this conference together. I want to thank our conference chair, Terri Hogan. Terri works for the National Park Service, as we've said, here in Fort Collins, and Terri also serves as a liaison to our board of directors, and has for a while now. Terri has a special gift of covering all details, which is what makes a conference chair great, and there's no doubt that this conference benefited from Terri's leadership. We had 2 conference program leaders, as Terri mentioned, Paula Fornwalt and Susan Panjabi, and they did organize a team that put together a stellar program this year, and we're really proud of it. And of course, there are many others, as mentioned, and they're all named in the program that did work tirelessly to make this conference a reality. Too many to name, so please do take a look at the program and give them a big thanks when you see them walking around this week. Everybody's wearing a tag that identifies them as a conference organizer. On the organization's end, I'd like to recognize Renee Barranca. Renee is our conference co-manager and is a board member, and also works for the Cleveland Museum of Natural History's Natural Areas program. She has worked on this conference for a lot of years as a volunteer, and it's because of Renee's efforts that you have that beautiful program sitting in your lap. And then I'd like to recognize staff. Thank you, Terri, for making a shout out to Kate. This year we are fortunate to have Kate Angel serve as our conference manager. It's the first staff position we've had dedicated in this way to conference planning, and this was Kate's first conference. And along with Amy Wills, our new membership coordinator and program assistant, and Joe Walco, our new operations manager, Kate and our team in Pennsylvania worked like champions to organize an event format that not one of them had ever experienced prior to this year's conference. So if you have suggestions and feedback that you'd like to share, they are all ears. Kate would love to hear from you. And I was going to ask them to stand, but the 3 of them are standing in the back of the room there. So, yeah. Yeah. If you get a chance, let them know how you think we're all doing as staff of your organization. Every successful conference has a group of sponsors supporting it by providing much-needed funding and underwriting. And this year's sponsors are identified here on the slide behind me. There's also a complete list of them in the front cover of your program, and so we are grateful for the support of our sponsors this year. For all those helping to plan this conference, it was important to us that our program reflect the urgency that we're all feeling around our work these days, now more than ever, but that we focus on solutions, strategies, and stories that show what is working, not just the difficulties we face. So I think you'll be inspired by the plenary speakers you'll be hearing from this morning and during our closing plenary session tomorrow. In a few moments, you'll hear from our keynote speaker, Darla Seidels. Darla is the superintendent of the Rocky Mountain National Park. After Darla speaks, we'll welcome John Stokes, the director of the City of Fort Collins Natural Areas Department, and Dave Anderson, the director of the Colorado Natural Heritage Program. These 3 speakers will orient us to where we are, the Front Range of Colorado, and to the current state of natural areas conservation here in the region. Tomorrow afternoon, we're hosting our closing plenary presentations with case studies that will explore large landscape conservation and the importance of natural areas. We welcome Greg Aplett of the Wilderness Society, along with Scott Black of the Xerces Society, Heather Knight with CSU's Center for Collaborative Conservation, and Reed Noss with the Florida Institute for Conservation Science. Our NAA annual membership meeting will be held tomorrow at noon. If you've not registered, please stop by our table and let us know you'd like to participate. It's a great opportunity to learn more about our organization and what we do. Our annual awards dinner, during which we present the George B. Fell and Carl N. Becker Awards, will take place tomorrow night. Our awards dinner is where we celebrate our work and we recognize individuals who set the bar in our field. We'll take a moment to recognize an important benchmark also for the U.S. Forest Service, which now has more than 500 research natural areas. We hope to see many of you there. For NAA, bringing the community of natural areas practitioners at this conference together is one of the most important ways we serve our members, but we do provide resources beyond the conference. You may have heard of our Natural Areas Journal, which is our flagship publication. We've got these out at the table. And it's the leading voice in natural areas management and preservation. Within the last year, we've published a special issue focusing on managing for pollinators in natural areas, and we have another special issue focusing on land management from a water resource perspective that will be published within the next year, and you can learn more about that. We've got a flyer out on our table. We held our first regional field workshops for natural areas practitioners in May in southern Missouri with the help of the Missouri Department of Conservation and the Arkansas Natural Heritage Commission. And this is just the first in what will become a regular series of local events for NAA as we attempt to reach out to folks who are unable to make it to our conference. We've made a lot of improvements as an organization over this last year in order to serve our members better, and another big change coming down the pike is an updated website, including better access to even more timely information and member tools. You'll hear more about this at our membership lunch, or check out the website for updates. Our webinar series, which debuted this last year, has been a big success, so much so that we'll be expanding our capacity to accommodate more participants in the near future, but be on the lookout for more webinars coming your way. For those of you who work within the state agency, within state agencies, we offer an active state natural areas program committee that convenes regularly. We've updated our status of state natural areas programs report just last year, so check the website out for that if you're interested. And supporting and mentoring our students and young professionals is a central part of our mission of the mission of this organization. We extended scholarships to 39 students this year so that they could attend the conference. These young people are the future of our profession, and so you'll have a great chance to meet some of the students' work. A lot of the posters that are starting to populate the walls here are the work of our students, and we'll be highlighting that at tonight's poster reception. Yes. Just a quick shout out, the conservation leadership graduate students from CSU, many of them are here working on a number of things this week, but one of them is an interview assignment for their course, one of the courses that they're taking. So you may be approached by one of them this week and asked an interview question or two if you're willing. We would encourage you to help those students out. And of course, as we do have for a number of years now, we have a variety of conference programming elements for students and young professionals, including our student mentor networking lunch today at 12:15, and our Keys to Conservation Careers session tomorrow, focusing on helping young members take the next step in their careers. I want to announce that next year's Natural Areas Conference, our 45th, will be in Bloomington, Indiana, on the campus of Indiana University. Our theme will be Building Resilience, the Future of Natural Areas. You'll hear more about that at our awards banquet tomorrow night. But mark your calendars now for October 23rd through the 25th. And then I'll just make note, too, that in 2019, we're going to be in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, very close to our new headquarters in Ligonier, Pennsylvania, which is just about an hour away. We'll be partnering with a local large land trust, the Western Pennsylvania Conservancy, to host that conference. Before I wrap up, I'd like to recognize our board of directors. These folks are passionate advocates for natural areas and the people that work in them and on them, and I'm proud to be one of them. I'd like to ask each of the Natural Areas Association board members to please stand. There are folks wearing green tags on their name tags this week. And if you have any questions about the organization and or would like to just provide feedback to us, they are all ears. So just make sure you grab one of them this week. And so before I conclude, I would like you to take a moment to look around at the people in this room and consider what we do. Each one of us is engaged in work we know will be of the highest, which we know to be of the highest importance. Each one of us is facing mounting challenges, and it's easy to feel overwhelmed and like we're fighting that fight alone. But none of us is here alone. This year's conference theme says it clearly. Collaboration is important. Reaching across boundaries is critical. Forging relationships with other people here at the conference or outside in the world afterwards will be central to our success as natural areas practitioners. None of us can do the job alone, and by bringing together this community and seeing our strength, we're reminded that we don't have to do this job alone. So have a great conference, and as always, thank you for all that you do.